There aren't a lot of women who've been around in comedy for a long time, and I feel bad because I wish that I'd realised sooner what was going on, so I could have been a better, bigger sister. The perpetrators that also hid that a lot from me by being mates with me, because I was older and not a sexual target for them. I was out of that loop. I didn't realise what those dudes were up to. I turned that guilt into absolute rage at those men.
Yeah. And what were the steps to change things?
Well, they don't work anymore in our industry. You know, I'm not a fan of cancel culture, but sometimes it's necessary. If I had complained about my treatment back then, I wouldn't be here. I've had outros like, and they'd be going, yay, Josie, yay, she was so great. And he'd come out and go, yeah, Justine Smith, I f***ed her. Yeah, what a piece of I've never f***ed that guy, I never would, you know, like, awful. And so now I've turned that into being someone that I really hope those girls can come to, and they do. I feel like if I moved to Japan tomorrow and never had anything to do with the industry again, those women, that we're in safe hands with those wahine.
This week on Between Two Beers, we talk to Justine Smith.
Justine is one of New Zealand's top stand-up comedians. She's a Billy T Award winner and has been head writer of 7 Days, the first woman in that role. 30 years in the game and still the funniest person in any room she walks into.
But the story behind the laughs is something else. Adopted, raised in Christchurch, she moved to Auckland as a teenager and spent years in hospo and didn't walk into a comedy club until she was 26. In fact, she nearly didn't walk in at all. She ran away twice before she finally did it.
This one goes deep on the life, the craft, and what it actually took to survive and then reshape an industry that wasn't always kind to women coming through. You're going to love this one.
Between Two Beers is proudly brought to you by One New Zealand. We believe that One New Zealand connects New Zealand, while Between Two Beers connects New Zealanders. And together, we're New Zealand's most trusted connection platform.
Between Two Beers is also supported by TAB. Keen for more action on sports and racing? Download the TAB app or visit tab.co.nz to get your bet on. R18, bet responsibly.
And Steve and I are also proud to be dressed by Barkers. Check out their range at barkersonline.co.nz. Enjoy.
Justine Smith.
Hi.
Welcome to
Gave me a little fright.
Between Two Beers. Sorry to frighten you like that.
Shouting at you.
Yelling at me across the table.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
You texted our Charlotte this morning saying you were weirdly nervous for this, which really surprised me. I actually found it hard to believe because for a living you are on stage making people laugh.
Well, Charlotte has a broken girl code. I'm nervous. I was a bit nervous, I think, because it's always weird going to something that you don't prep for. Like my whole life is having a prep. I've got my set ready. And, you know, pretty much I'm kind of in control of the situation. So, yeah, be good interviewers, please.
I know what you mean. Sometimes we are interviewed by others and it's very unsettling for me. I like to be in control.
Yeah, it's weird.
But we did hear you've warmed up for us with an interview with the mother of the nation, Judy Bailey.
Oh, my God. I know the Judy Bailey.
Yeah.
Because I say yes and no to interviews around Comedy Fest because they like to truck me out, you know, get me to do lots of interviews and stuff. And when they said with Judy Bailey, I went, wait a minute, the Judy Bailey? And they went, the Judy Bailey. And so I had this wonderful 2-hour Zoom with Judy Bailey with the glorious, beautiful, she's always so well presented, you know, silver hair. And there's a lot of good things about me, right? But poised and elegant. They're not really adjectives that are going to be used for me, you know. So when I'm talking to a woman like that, I always feel like a bloody truck driver from, you know, like Gore or something. But she was, no shade, truck drivers from Gore, but she was, in fact, that sounds quite hot. But she was so lovely, and we ended up doing this deep dive that I've never done before. You know, we talked about really serious stuff like being adopted and mental health and all that kind of stuff. So it was awesome. It was a real blessing. And then we had some little fangirl, thank you so much, no, thank you so much, no, thank you so much. And so it was lovely. It was an honour, actually. Because, you know, she says, oh, I just read the news. But I'm like, no, mate, you're a woman on television in the 70s and I didn't have a lot of them to look at, you know.
You can imagine our intimidation seeing that your last interview was with the Mother of the Nation and then your next one is with us.
Oh, mate.
That's a little bit intimidating for us.
Well, it's not because I do pick and choose. So
okay.
Consider yourself
very complimentary.
picked out of the pick and mix like a couple of old dusty spearmint leaves.
That's a great reference. I haven't heard about a spearmint leaf. Yeah.
Who likes spearmint
No,
leaves?
That's why they've been discontinued,
Yeah.
haven't they?
Disgusting.
And those banana ones as
no,
well.
I can have a
You like the
banana one.
banana?
Yeah, the banana ones are
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're out of your
Get in
mind.
my lane.
Spearmint leaf is a great little, that's an absolute niche reference
To be
pluck
fair,
out.
it's a little bit of an ager, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good though. You thought you might have said a snifter or something like
Oh,
that.
no, a little sherbet.
Oh, hey, hello.
These days, that doesn't mean sherbet,
No, it
does
does
it?
not.
No.
Means something else.
We'll get into that soon. You are very closely connected to a number of former Between Two Beers guests, so we've enjoyed reconnecting with a bunch of them to find the best Jussie angles.
Crikey.
So we've got just a couple at the top of the show. We'll start with Dai Henwood, who said that we should ask about when you toured with Puppetry the Penis.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah.
Which brought back memories for us because
You,
Why is that?
because there were a lot of amateur puppetry of the penis enthusiasts.
Are you saying you were one?
Oh shit, no, I'm not equipped for that.
Didn't do
But
a little.
the wristwatch.
The wristwatch.
That's exactly what came out when we were talking
and the
about
windmill?
Yeah, the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is quite PTSD for me because
it. Was there a windsurfer?
oh god, I can't remember. There was certainly an Ayers Rock, but that's when they pulled their foreskin out or something. Not
Yeah.
foreskin, no, their nuts.
Scrotum.
Yeah.
We've got
Over
how
there.
long have we been talking? We're talking about scrotum.
We're in there.
But because I won the Billy T in 2003, and so I toured with them in 2004, and it was actually fantastic because it was just a tour full of women in the audience, and so it was delightful for me to go out and do my little silly 20 minutes. But then, unfortunately, because there was a screen and I was backstage, I still to this day think I could probably pick their dicks out in a dick lineup.
How many performers are there in a?
Well, they franchised it, but I can you believe? I mean, # Australia. But they have. I toured with the original two guys, Simon and the other one, and Friendy, his name is, and David. And so it was quite cool, and they were really nice guys, and they had their wives with them, so it wasn't
It's not a sexualized show,
not
is it?
at all, it's actually quite, because I was like, oh my, what have I got myself into? Because there's two guys I don't know backstage swinging their dicks around warming up, and I'm like, sure, I've been in comedy, but I am a white woman from Christchurch. Like, I was like, oh, well, excusez-moi. But actually it was quite a joyful, fun show. I know, and it's not something I ever would have gone to, but it was quite incredible to be part of.
Yeah, is it something that you expect, you think Puppetry the Penis in the headline, you go in and you're kind of expecting this raunchy thing, but it's actually quite sort of clever and subtle.
I hate to admit it actually really is. And the banter between those two, even though they were a bit at loggerheads but at that stage. But it was a funny, joyful show and women walked out happy and laughing, and that's what you want.
Do you think it still plays now? Is it still
so.
Is it still going?
I know that Friendy and Simon don't do it anymore because they'd be like in their 60s and
They've retired.
God, who wants to see that apart from their
Imagine
wives?
handing
am I
that
right?
over, handing the IP over, and this is how you.
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah, there'd be a handbook.
They would have auditions, and people would come in and swing their dicks around. God, men are weird, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're weird creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next guest we went to was Hayley Sproull, and she kind of gave us half of a voice note because she's incredibly busy.
Yeah,
but she did tell us a story that you and her wrestled in the green room once.
More than once.
Yeah.
Was it?
How does that happen?
Someone filming it?
Well, someone was filming it, and it did end up on the blooper reel. Hayley and I, we've got a lot of energy, and we might have a couple of Pinot Gris.
3 bottles was started at 1, then went to 2, and then that was not enough, and then it was 3 now.
Yeah. I don't want to, I mean, that sounds bad because no one should perform pissed, and we didn't. It's just that Hayley and I have the tolerance of a couple of old sailors, But yeah, we've wrestled a couple of times. Yeah, I waste her. Did she say that?
No, she didn't.
No,
I bet she
she
did.
left that part out.
I bet she-
She did say she is an absolute awe of you, and you are her favourite comedian. Though.
Oh, she's a sweet darling, and it's right back at her, right back at her and her work ethic and how hard she works, and how hard she plays and how fun and sweet she is as a friend. She's a good girl.
Are those green rooms before a big show quite a fun environment to be in, or are they
you
nervous?
kidding me?
Or
Nah.
are they?
No one's really that nervous. We've all done our prep. We all know each other. It's just joyful. We're just absolutely pacing each other. It'll kind of go turns, It'll be like, who are we going to be mean to tonight? Okay, let's all pick on Hurley. And so it'll be a bit like that, Yeah. You don't want to show weakness in front of the boys, You don't want to go, oh, I don't like moths. Otherwise, they'll be getting a moth and throwing it in your face.
Are they shared green rooms?
Yeah. Oh, no, Hayley and I, they're usually quite big theatres, so we have a shared green room, and then Hayley and I will go down and find a green room and put on It's Raining Men and do our makeup. We were singing along to It's Raining Men so loud one day that the boys thought it was a fight out on the street. But it was just me and Hayley singing.
The proper lyrics. That sounds an interesting.
The proper, when we get really giving it heaps.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, and the bit when it goes, towel, short, long and lean. Yeah, we were really leaning into that.
Pause the recording. I think there's a fight outside.
Yeah, the boys going, Jesus, there's a brawl in the street. But it was a blessing for me because, there have been, I've also toured with a couple of other chicks, but having Hayley in that tour group for me was just a blessing,
Such talent.
Yeah.
The third one we went to is Kanoa Lloyd, and I want to read what she said. She said, "The first time I saw Juzzy perform live was at a venue where you had to take your wine in one of those plastic tumblers. She made me laugh so hard I squeezed my cup and it cracked and spilled on me. And I think it was just a face she pulled. Her perfectly timed eyebrow raises and head snaps make me wheezy with laughter. To this day, she makes me snort laugh because she has this beautiful ability to make you feel equal parts safe and comfortable, but also grossed out and aghast. And it's such a recipe for proper belly laughs. The Chris Hipkins Yes Minister hot chip stuff the other week is a perfect example. I mean, who the hell has the audacity to do that? Only Jussie could pull it off and make something that is so filthy still feel charming and warm and genuinely funny."
Well, Kanoa is another one of those wonderful, warm, graceful, looks beautiful in a couch cover, and so it's my kind of life's mission to kind of, gorgeous women like that. I like to give them a little needle, like sometimes I'll like do a little burp, a little fart in front of Kanoa. She'll be like, she'll be so horrified, and it's like, I only do it because it horrifies her, because she's so gorgeous. But she's, I'm lucky that, she's become a good friend, and I feel lucky.
But the Chris Hipkins stuff, have you pre-planned what you were going to say?
Yeah.
And the timing of it, and is it that?
No, I had that as an option. And then I went, I can't.
Really?
Yeah, I was going, I can't. But then he was so lovely and so sparkly. And he also has come into that 7 days environment knowing that we are all hard out lefties, so it's not like when a national person comes in or act or something and we're all like, whatever, so we kind of, it looks good for him to be on there, especially in my opinion with, Luxon not showing up for any interviews and then, old Chippy's on 7 days with me asking what colour his pubes are. I think it, and so for me as a pro-Labour too, I was like, well, I reckon this will be good for him, And he was great about it. I was reading him as a comic. You have to be able to read people, that is, if you can't read a room, you can't do comedy. And so I was watching him and reading him and going, yeah, I can do it. Also, there's that point where, I thought, well, maybe they won't show it.
Yeah.
But I knew they would.
The biggest clip, right?
What
was the line about getting oiled up?
So it was I can't remember.
Yeah. Have you ever covered yourself in cooking oil and said,
yeah.
Here comes the hot chippy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be perfectly transparent, what happens on 7 days is, as you know, we get prep and we do prepare gags, and in the morning there's a group of like spec writers who write gags, and that was actually a spec writer's gag. So they write for us and we can take them or whatever, so they get paid if we say their gag. And so I must try and find out who wrote that and thank them because, I just used it and it went viral and it's great for me. And so, I must do that.
How wide is the original edit and then it gets condensed into the 30 minutes?
we I think it's 40. We record from 6 until about 8:30 or 9 with a break. And so there's a lot of editing. And you just have to let go of, oh, that'll definitely make it. That was really funny. And then you go, oh, I didn't make it, But it's because it doesn't fit or whatever. So.
Are there any nights where it gets really, like someone just chucks one in that sets the tone and then it just goes off into a different
Have you
tangent?
met Dai? Have you met Josh Thompson? Absolutely. And so it's a real juggle of having stuff prepared and listening and being in the moment and goofing off with your mates, So that's why I don't really mind saying, we do prep for it. Obviously you must, otherwise it'd be an 8-hour record with no funny shit in it,
We're keen to link back up to some more 7 days chat in a bit, but want to go back to the start. And you mentioned the adoption stuff, and we had some really interesting chats with your sister Amanda.
Aww.
And keen to, if you're open to it, sort of understanding your sort of upbringing story and how it all
I was really so lucky. I feel like, my adoption story is one of the just perfect ones, really. I had Amanda. So I was, my sister Amanda was born in 1966 in Christchurch, went into the generic adoption kind of scenario back then. Very closed, very shameful. I'm not getting emotional, sorry, I need a drink of wine. No, anyway, and she went into the kind of generic system and got adopted in Christchurch. And then her birth mother, which is also my birth mother, had moved up to Auckland, got pregnant again in 1968 and was like, oh, for God's sake. So she went, I have spoken to her about this, and she went out to the West Coast beaches to hide her pregnancy with me, and I was born. And then she was at I guess you call it a social worker, and she's been marginalised and called a slut, and, her whole family kind of wasn't into her being pregnant and sent her away and all that jazz that happened in the 60s. And she went to this guy, the social worker, and she was crying, and I think she had me in her arms, and she was going, during the interview, she goes, well, is there any way this baby could go with my other baby? And she thought the guy would just go, no, you shouldn't have got knocked up, you dirty hooer, basically. But he went, well, actually, and got this big ledger out, because it's pre-computers, obviously. I'm fucking anything. It's basically stone tablets. But
teletext.
Yeah. Carrier pigeon. And he looked through and he found out where my sister Amanda had been placed in Christchurch and rang that number then and there in front of my birth mother, Natalie, and my mum, Joyce, answered. And it's amazing having heard this from both these women the same day, this story. And Mum said, we picked up the phone. And my sister, of course, we were mean. We used to laugh at her for crying at this certain point. And she'd go, well, Amanda was 2. And my mother was very proper. Amanda was 2, and we got this phone call saying, would you like to adopt the little half-sister of your little girl? And of course we said yes. So she'd always start crying then, and Amanda and I would laugh. It was really cute, though. We'd make fun of her a little bit. And so that happened. And I flew down from Auckland to Christchurch to be raised. And Mum said, wow, we certainly heard you before we ever saw you. Mm. And that was a real sign of things to come. But it was super cute. And I always knew that Amanda and I had the same birth mother, and that she couldn't look after us, and Mum and Dad couldn't have babies, and so here we were, and I had this idyllic little middle-class upbringing in Christchurch with this grandma, my mum's mum, who we looked alike, weirdly, and people would go, oh, well, we can tell whose granddaughter she is, and Nana and I would have this cute laugh like, oh, those dicks, I'm adopted, but it was a sweet, lovely thing, and I just felt so lucky, and that was what compelled me to look for my birth mother, that I didn't want really anything from her, or I didn't at that stage really want a relationship with her. I just wanted to say thank you so much for putting me with my sister, who's my favourite person in the world, basically. Sorry, Dan, but, first equal. But, your siblings are your longest relationships, they're important.
What was it like when you met up with your birth mother? Crazy. Yeah. Did you learn anything new about yourself? Or?
Yeah, I just sent her this really cute little photo of Amanda and I at about 3 and 5, dressed the same, holding hands, looking adorable. And I said, look, I think that I was born on this date, my sister was born on this date, I think you're my birth mother. I just want you to say we're both happy and successful. She's a teacher, she's married in Japan. I'm a performer, I'm broke as shit, but I'm happy. I think at that stage I was going out with Dan. No, actually it was way before Dan. But I was like, I'm happy, we're both happy and healthy, we had a great upbringing, so if you don't want anything to do it, that's absolutely fine. This is just to say thank you so much. And then about a week or 2 later, maybe 3, I got a call at Verona, and I went out the back stairs and spoke to my birth mother for the first time, And she was very trepidatious because she had a husband and 2 more daughters who knew nothing. Her husband actually did know, but her 2 daughters who knew nothing. And I was very quick to say, that's fine. I don't want, that's fine. And so we met, and it was crazy. She drove out to my place where I was living at Pihar at the time, and she got out of the car and walked across the lawn, and it was like looking at myself as an older person. Out of the 4 daughters that she had, her and I look really the same. And so it was buzzy. It was pretty out of it. But then she's since passed away, but we we had this relationship where we would see each other maybe once a year, and she would call on my birthday, or actually I think she thought my birthday was the 6th of November, but the 7th, but it was quite good because I had time to talk to her. but we had a lovely relationship, and then this is quite a deep dive. Have we got time?
Yeah,
Okay, and
we're here for
then
it.
so I ended up doing an ancestry DNA, and after our birth mother had passed away, the two half sisters of Natalie's got in touch with me, and they were like, "Oh my God, this is going to come as a huge surprise to you." So I had to go, "Oh, actually, it doesn't." And I had to kind of mitigate their absolute surprise at having two older sisters, half sisters, and kind of negotiating that total shock and their kind of resentment a little bit of Natalie for not saying anything. So I had to admit that actually it was Natalie and my decision that our relationship would be just the two of us. So Natalie has, and location-wise it was difficult, so Natalie hasn't met Amanda, well, never will because she's passed away. But so it's very much a her and I relationship. But I have met the two girls, and it was pretty buzzy too, you know. But I also have the sense of I'm very much still the little sister. You know, it's very much, Amanda and I have this saying in Japanese, which is futari dake, which is just the two of us, you know, because it's always been like that for us and always will be. But it was lovely, and I'm ongoing with the girls, you know, like they're both Westies, married with kids, lovely girls, you know, and so I have this kind of, you know, we get together once or twice a year and check in and see how we're going, but it's not like Amanda, and how could it be, you know?
I spoke to Amanda.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And like hearing her speak, your mannerisms sound exactly
I know,
the same.
and we had gestures and everything. We're very similar.
But the thing that really surprised me, she left New Zealand at age 19 to go to Japan and is still there.
And never came back, yeah.
So the fact that you are still so close, despite that distance, really speaks to the depth of your relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. She was growing up, she was always quite shy because she's so clever, you know, and she was very, very shy and a little bit awkward, bless her, for a period of time, you know. And I you know, confidence was never much of an issue for me. And so, you know, I used to do a lot of talking for both of us, and I always felt like a little protective of her, you know. And so, you know, it's almost like she was away for so long, and then without, you know, there was not a lot of internet or anything, and so we didn't really have a lot of communication for quite a few years. I remember it was terrible. I would get at house parties when I was a bit pissed, I'd sneak off and get their landline and ring because I knew her number and ring Amanda on the landline, have a good korero with her for a while, and then hang up and shoot, you know, in a month the flatmates would go, who the hell ran Japan for 30 minutes on Friday night?
How good.
Yeah, so naughty, eh? So, but, you know, it was a difficult time for our family when Amanda left too. My grandparents had just died and quite close together, and Mum was very close to them, and, you know, Mum was prone to depression and Dad lost his job, so it was a real shit time. And so we all ended up coming up to Auckland. I came up to Auckland kicking and screaming. But I'm really glad that happened, and yeah.
In terms of formative figures in that childhood, you mentioned your grandparents. Grandad Bill.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about Grandad Bill?
He was just amazing. He died when I was 16, but he was a stand-up comedian. He used to have a little duo, and he would play the banjolele with his friend Cliff. And I mean, some of the content, let's not go there, but he was just full of joy, my granddad, naughty, you know, and my family was quite conservative, you know, like loving, but very, you know, very quiet, didn't want attention. But, you know, Grandad was like, you know, and I was prone to the old tantrum, as you can imagine. I remember one of my clear memories is being pissed off under this beautiful, and he was also a wood turner, this beautiful table that Grandad had made. And I was fucked off with Mum for something, and I was under there just being angry. And it was at a party, and Grandad had been playing the banjo, and he just slowly kind of sat down on the chair. Then he sat down on the ground. Then he kind of backed in next to me, not looking at me, and just played the banjo next to me. And I was like, I love you, Grandad. But he you know, and he made this tape of Amanda and I, little cassette tape that we had all our birthdays, you know, and what a blessing that is. We've had it, you know, digitized, and you know, all of us took them when we were little kids until now, and it's just such a precious taonga to have from that time, you know, because, you know, I have a very small family who've all passed away in Christchurch, which all my house is gone, my school's gone, and so it's very precious, you know, when I don't have a lot of family at all, and that's why, you know, I really love Dan's family as well, because I don't have my own really left.
Yeah, when Amanda told me about that, that recording.
Yeah.
She said it dates back to like when you're 2 years old.
It does,
and
yeah.
he's asking you,
Yeah.
what are you? And you're like, I'm a clown.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
and
it's
5-year-old telling stories.
It's so cute. And Mum going, stop being so stupid, Justine, in the back, because 70s parenting. Stop it, Justine, because I was just like, what's this, Grandad? Tap, tap. We're going, don't do that. But who I was as a kid and who Manda was as a kid and just those little snippets of family, it's amazing.
And it speaks to, we started a project called Reflections, which is exactly that. It's capturing family stories, family documentaries.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can speak to the value of this because that's however many years ago that you can still hear your grandfather's voice.
And mums and dads and, just in the background, it's amazing.
How does that, fuck it, we're going deep, losing your parents and losing your family, how does that change the way you approach life or reflect on things? Where does that place you?
Hugely, really. It's awful losing your parents, even when it's expected, it's like, it's awful losing your mum and dad, it's really awful. And I have this kind of weird guilt that I never have to go through that again. And I'm very close to Dan's, both sides of his family, his mum and her partner and his dad and her partner, his partner. And I have this weird guilt, like, I've already been through.
You know what's coming.
I do know what's coming. This is terrible.
I feel the same.
Yeah.
My dad passed away 16 years ago.
Yeah.
And none of my friends have lost a parent to my,
and so it's like,
close ones anyway.
At least that gross things in the past.
Yeah.
But it has made me, I've always, because I was adopted too and because I've had a lot of my life without Amanda, I've always felt really self-sufficient. I've always been like quite a tough little cookie, really. And especially now Mum and Dad aren't here, so sometimes I do some shit on TV. I'm going, fuck, I'm glad Mum's not alive. But, ultimately, I know that they saw enough of my career and met Dan, and Mum was able to come to our wedding. They saw enough of that to know that I was all right, because I think Mum was just pretty horrified, because I worked in hospo. I was, working in clubs late at night, there was booze and all that shit, and so I think she was really worried. And we, Mum and I didn't by any means have an easy relationship, but she was the first person I called in 2003 when I won the Billy. Even though we weren't talking that much then, I rang her straight away and she was so proud, and so, yeah, I think sometimes you, as a woman, you grow up and you look at your mum as another woman, not as your mum, and you go, oh, I don't think we would have gone on at school, and so, yeah, we came to a really good place with each other, before she passed away.
It was interesting talking to Amanda about Grandad Bill as well, because she said the same thing of how proud he would have been to have seen the performer that you have become, because it's following in his footsteps in your own way, right?
That makes me emotional. I do think of Grandad, especially when I'm in those those big theatres like the Theatre Royal in Christchurch and places in the South Island where he might have performed. Like Nelson, I know he performed there, and Timaru, the sound show and all that. And so, when I get to do those bits, I'm like, I think of that Grandad looked up at these, these curtains and these, because it's old as hell back there, Yeah, I think he would have been. He might have been a bit appalled at the content, but...
No, I think he would have got on with it. But how cool.
Yeah.
Like it skips a generation too.
Yeah, it sure did.
But it's not even like a lot of people look back at their ancestry, their blood ancestry, and go, this. You've said around Natalie, you look the same, but in terms of picking up the skill set.
It's funny because when I think of my ancestry, I think about Grandad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about, it's funny, I don't think you can really understand, because a lot of people, when you're adopted, they can't understand if you don't have this urge to find... But you don't, for me personally, I just never had that gap because it was, my cup was filled with my family.
Tell us about young Juzzy, because I've got two things written down here. One is, I just want to be famous, in quote marks. And the other is, left an all-girls school in Christchurch as a super goody two-shoes high achiever to go to art school in Auckland. So help me understand those.
Okay, I wasn't completely a super. I was actually, that's true. I was. Because Mum was scary. Mum was scary. I didn't want to piss Mum off, But I was a goody shoot. I'm glad for that. I'm really glad for my innocence until I was 17. I didn't lose my virginity. I didn't get pissed. I didn't smoke weed. I didn't do anything. And so when I came into Auckland, look out. But,
Wheels come off.
all of those things went out the door. But, I'm glad for that because I had this really good solid base of who I was and where I came from. And, so when I was doing all those crazy things, nothing bad ever happened because,
It was a rock and roll time, though, when you moved to Auckland, right?
It was more rock and roll when I got into comedy for the first time. Yeah, because, it wasn't that rock and roll. I was young. I was a waitress at the Sheraton. I was going to art school at Whitecliff. And then I got a job at the Globe Hotel. Yeah, that got a bit rock and roll, I suppose.
The Globe, the old backpackers? Is that the...
No, that's the Globe in town. No, the Globe Hotel was on the corner of Wakefield and Mount Street. It's long gone. But it was when I got into hospo that things kind of went a bit, not bad, but a bit crazy. I loved it.
Yeah, keen to dig. I spoke to your friend Sarah Murphy about and sort of describing the 90s years in Auckland. She said it was like being a game.
It was.
And you worked in the Mexican Cafe, the Globe Bar, Verona. Tell us about hospo, what you learnt from it and why it was so great.
What I learnt from that is I learned a lot from women who were older than me in management roles. I was young, when I lied about my age to get a job at the Globe, I think I was 17. I think you had to be 18. And all these women, back then in Doc Martens and blue lipstick and spiky hair, and I was like, I want to be like them. And so I found a lot of inspiration and they took me under their wing. It was a very nurturing family. Hospitality can be like that. You work together, you party together, usually end up dating someone in the pub, And so I just found like a bit of a tribe there. Before I found my comedy tribe, I found my hospo tribe. And the Globe was very much like that. I've got a couple of friends still to this day. And then I moved to the Mexican Cafe, which was very much like that. And then on to Verona after that, which is, again, very family. I don't know how I lived through those years. But the Mexican Cafe, I was there for like 5 or 6 years, and that's where I met Sarah. And we just, Sarah came over to my house one night for a joint and just basically never left. Here we are 25 years later, and she's just a queen, she's, we lived in Melbourne together for a couple of years, which is wild. And she went on to be a nurse and I went on to do whatever I'm doing.
Did it help you? I don't know. It's because you're kind of late into comedy, but those hospo years interacting with people and just understanding dynamics.
Well, parallels, right?
And holding my own in a room full of men in a way, I was lucky that, it was something I came to understand later, that I was really lucky that walking to a room full of men didn't intimidate me at all. But then, and so it took me a long time to understand that that's fucking confronting.
Because it's pissed men as well.
It's
a lot of the time,
pissed men,
right?
and it's blokey men, and it's men who all think they're fucking alphas, which as soon as you think that, you ain't. And so it's all these robust kind of characters, and I was able to be robust, but also I had Dai. I had my sidekick, I had mates, and so I didn't really understand for a long time why women started comedy and then stopped. And now I do. Because I was lucky that I was 26 when I started doing comedy. Men didn't scare me. I looked at men who treated me like shit, and there were them. I looked at them more like that was on them. If like a guy made fun of me on stage, which they constantly did because I was a good comic and they didn't like it. If the MC made fun of me on stage and said gross things about me, which they did, I would go, well, you look like the fuckwit. Like those people out there don't think that because I've just been on doing a really good set and they like me. And so for you to come on and slag me off, that just makes you look like a fuckwit, mate. And so I was able to do that, but a lot of women weren't, and a lot of women went away and never came back because of that. And that's something that we've worked really hard to change.
Where do you think that kind of confidence, or is it self-belief, comes from?
Doing a lot of shit on my own, because Manda left when I was still at school. And so I came to Auckland on my own without mum and dad. I was here for a little while before they came up. They sent me up first to go to art school. I think just I just always felt quite resilient. I'm just lucky like that. I'm good at compartmentalising things and just trying to deal with shit, like, I don't know, I felt lucky that I just don't know, I think I was born with quite thick skin actually.
Did travel, because I think you joined Amanda in Japan for a year.
I did, yeah. I didn't live near her, actually. I ended up going over there and
But travelling obviously
Yeah.
probably helps with some of those
I
experiences.
travelled quite a bit on my own before I met Danny. I went to Japan, and stuff like that. Lived in Japan for a year. I just wanted to say yes to stuff. I didn't want to go to the fucking UK like everyone else did, you know. So when I go to Japan,
Are you fluent?
I'm no, God,
You can get
no.
by though, right?
I can get by. I can converse. I'm fluent, no way. But I can get by.
That's a pretty hectic skill to have.
Well, I learned it for 3 years,
Right.
4 years at high school, and then I lived there for a year. So you'd hope. And then I go back and God, you should see me showing off in front of my husband.
I'm thinking of my view of Japan, rightly or wrongly, like karaoke and pissed up Japanese businessmen. Was that your experience?
No, there's so much more to it than that. I would live there if I could. I would go back again if I could. And I might, actually.
What's the appeal?
Just everything about it. Just everything about it, the people, the country, the vibe, I don't know, it's just, I really respond to it like Amanda does. Dai's the same. We have a real love of Japan, and we often used to talk about going over there and buying a house, like, because you can actually, if you sold your shitty house here, get a really lovely house there, but we'll see.
Random seg. I want to lean in, build back to comedy, but I spoke to Sarah and I asked, do you have any, what are your best stories? What are your best Juzzy stories?
Jesus.
And she told me one, we were cackling, I'd love your version of it, is travelling in the States. And she said that you refer to each other as military wives because of these sort of Vietnam vets that you met in a caravan graveyard.
Yeah. Yep. So we, Sarah's amazing. Bloody loose lips. So we hired this VW Westphalia camper in San Fran, and we drove to this campground. And actually, I should say, Sarah was doing the driving, and we jumped in the van, and immediately went the wrong way up a on-ramp. Anyway, we sorted that out, and then we were just loose units, mate. We had no idea where we were going, and we saw this kind of campground. It was dark, late, and we were like, fucking hell. And so we pulled in there, and there's this guy, and he goes, there's no one else there except us and this weird kind of military, those old American military guys who haven't been in the army for years but still look like they want to fucking call you. So anyway, it was a bit weird. And we parked up, but we're like, we'll be fine. And Sarah is she's more of a loose unit than me. I'm a little bit like, mate, we're going to get murdered. Like, she's going to kill us. She was like, it'll be fine, shut up. Anyway, and so we ended up around this campfire with him smoking and having yarns and that. And then his weird little friend the next morning.
Sorry. I'm just painting a picture in my mind of just like a weird little mate.
And then we were walking, and he was just this little nugget of a dude. And he came up to us and he goes, well, hi there, ladies. Seriously, he talked like that. And I was like, I've got to go. I'm going to laugh in this guy's face. He was going, I did hear you had a night with my friend Steve last night around the camp. And he goes, I do need you to know I do outrank him in the military sense. I do outrank him in the military sense. And me and Sarah and she's like, elbow me. I'm going, fuck up, mate. And then he said something about, I love the music from my country. I've got all of Seal's music.
Kiss from a Rose.
Yeah. And we were okay, mate. And we walked off. So, and then after that, because the guy had given us a little bag of, tobacco. And so from then on, I did no driving and Sarah did the drive. And so we made up these characters. We were military wives. Yeah, we had names and everything.
Oh, good.
That was her comment. One of them was still on acid. One of them hadn't been into town for 25 years.
Mate, it was insane.
Yeah.
It was up in the redwoods somewhere. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The other one is she said that you're always saying laughing in the morning from a hostel with Germans.
Yeah, it's these two German guys we met. Well, this is on her, this story, actually, because I'm going to fuck you, Sarah, right?
Yeah,
so she'd hooked up with this guy and they were in contact. Anyway, we were in Guadalajara, this real roach-infested place, and we'd meet these two German guys, and I think they were quite keen on us, but we were really interested. And we're at this computer, and the guy that Sarah had been seeing had sent her a photo of him with a towel hanging on his dick.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Puppetry of the penis.
Totally. And so we are laughing, like, what a dickhead, right? We're like, that is not hot. So we are just laughing and laughing. And one of the German guys, I think the kind of chubby one who fancied me, walked past and went, oh, laughing in the morning. And so we just randomly give each other voicemails, oh, laughing in the morning.
Okay, the last one she's sent through is that you guys did a runner from All You Can Eat Pizza Hut in Taupo. And then the car broke down afterwards.
The old red roofs.
Okay, the car didn't break down. We ran out of gas. Okay, in my defence, it was my idea to run it, but the service was terrible. We were waiting in line to pay for ages, and I was like, fuck this, let's just go. Right, so we left. Then Karma got us because he ran out of gas. I can't even remember what happened to the end of that story. Sarah probably hitched off and got gas for us.
Dangerous place, that all you can eat.
I used to work at one.
Did you?
Yeah. A lot of people could put a lot of pizza away. You'd be surprised at how...
I don't think I would be surprised.
And how often people used to eat so much and then make themselves sick.
What?
And then go and throw up in the bar and like had to...
And then come back for more?
Yeah.
That's obscene.
I know. Food costs.
Dangerous
Spiraling.
place. Right, link us into comedy, because I know there's the first gig at Kitty O'Brien's at age 26, but before that was a Bill Bailey influence.
Oh my God.
And we had him, we were lucky enough to have him as a guest last year, which has been one of the highlights of the podcast journey. Just what
Apart from this one.
Until today, yeah.
But what an incredible man. But what was
my
the
God.
influence that he had on you?
Paul Horan, who I know, who used to run the comedy festival, needed a few extra waitresses, so he asked me to come and waitress at the Hopetown Alpha, and it was the Scared Weird Little Guys, Rich Hall and Bill Bailey. And I'd never considered doing comedy at all. I liked it, but it wasn't even on my radar. And sounds such a cheesy story, but I was walking around with my tray doing shit, and it was when Bill Bailey was on, and there was this huge laugh, and I also laughed because I could hear, I laughed, and I suddenly went, oh my God, this is... And I put my tray down and I went, fuck, this is incredible. And then I kind of waited and for the next big laugh, and everyone laughed together, and I went, this is fucking magic. Like, imagine doing that. Imagine doing that. And I guess this little seed got planted, and then maybe a year after that, I got dared to do that night at Kitty O'Brien's, and I signed up and ran away 3 times, and then I did it. But that night watching Bill Bailey and all those all guys obviously, but it was just the magic of that moment, of that shared communal kind of everyone together in that moment, and then everyone together. It was like music, It was just there was something beautiful about it, And I mean, Bill Bailey is in a league of his own because of his musicianship, but I just went, God, imagine being able to be up there and be that one instead of being one of all of these,
So that was a thought you had in hindsight? Like at the moment you thought it, but then later on maybe you saw that was the planting of the seed?
Yeah,
it
was. I think it was a bit retrospective, to be fair. I thought about that later, yeah. I remember feeling the beauty of that moment. And then actually, I haven't really thought about that before, but then when I did that gig at Kitty's, my first ever gig, even though there's about 20 maybe people there, it was that same feeling of I don't know, I guess separating yourself from the pack and going, I think I can do that. It's sometimes to this day, this is my 31st year of doing comedy, the arrogance of it still sometimes strikes me. Before I'm going on, you look out and you see like a couple of hundred people or more or less or whatever, and you go, I'm going to go up there with an amplifying stick and fucking talk about myself. Like, sometimes I think that's insane.
I share that because we do that on the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
yeah. But also, that's half the puzzle, Then you do a gig and, if you happen to, so often you're in a green room, you never see any of the audience. But, sometimes if you walk out and someone goes, oh my God, that's me and my husband, or that's me and my daughter, or oh my God, my sister, and oh my God, and what you're doing, especially in these fucking crazy times, is, it's one of the few things, like, you aren't allowed to have your phone. You actually aren't allowed, and so even it's for an hour of, people are just together with one little thing that they're looking at, all focused and all looking at the same thing. And man, even when I go to an hour show, which isn't often, it's great to be sitting in even if it's like 8 other people, it's a shared kind of thing.
So that first gig at Kitty's that you get sort of like pushed onto the stage, do you remember prepping for it? Do you remember being deathly nervous? Do you remember like how you thought about that first gig?
I have never, and I've done some stupid shit, but I have never, ever been as frightened as I was that first time when I got pushed through the curtain. But yeah, I had a little song about waitressing. I couldn't play the guitar. I still can't. But I had a little song about waitressing and a little set about waitressing because that's all I had to talk about.
Do you remember the first laugh?
I remember the first line I said, which is probably not that politically correct now, but I walked out and I went, "Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be the Jackson 5. Not great, but that got a laugh, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah."
But the whole set, thankfully, went well, and they really. Can I stop doing that? And it went well, and they really liked me. And I've said this before, and it is cheese balls, but I went outside of that pub and I looked at the sky, and the fucking sky looked different. I went, "Oh, here we are. Well, this is me now."
Did you think about Grandad Bill?
Yeah. Yep. Not probably that night, but I think of him a lot. I did a show about him, and I want to redo it, actually. I want to redo my show I did about him when I did one of his songs out of his songbook, and because I've got his joke book. Some of it's not great. And but yeah, I think about him all the time.
The comedy scene at the time, you had like Mike King and Andrew Clay into Radar and Brendan Lovegrove and Ewan Gilmore. And I remember like the comedy galas growing up, when I was a teenager, I'd watch it with the parents, and that would be your whole comedy would just be in that sort of one hour show, whatever it was, 90-minute show.
Yeah.
Is that, because when you're coming through, so that was 26 when you were at Kitty O'Brien's, what did the scene look like, and what was the path to becoming sort of a full-time stand-up?
Long. I was 26 when I started, and when I stopped waitressing, I was in my early 40s because I just, that was, and so sometimes, young comics go, I'm so broke. I haven't got enough gigs. And well, have you got a job? And so it's like, that's just how it was, especially for a chick, no one was giving me anything really. And so, I just waitress because I wanted to be a comic so much. I would just waitress during the day and gig at night.
Driving in from Piha for a 10-minute set for $40.
Yep.
Not that desperate, but
well, you want the stage time and you want to be there. Back then the Classic was like our little clubhouse. If we weren't gigging, we'd be there because everyone else was gigging, and so it was like, I would drive in for 40 minutes and then I'd spend that on a beer and gas. But it wasn't about that. It was about, I wouldn't do that now. But, it was actually I haven't had a late show in about 20 years. But it was just joyful. We just wanted to do it.
We spoke to David Downs a little bit about the Classic and the process of standing that up. I mean, it's obviously a very, very special place.
Oh, mate. The Classic has been, for better or worse, the one constant in my life. I've been going in and out that door longer than houses and boyfriends and cats and cars and parents. It's been the one constant little shady little scummy place my whole life almost. Long may it last.
Being the path to becoming a comedian, professional comedian, if that's what you call it, is hard enough.
Yes, that is what you call it. Thank you.
Yeah. But I don't know why. Sweet.
Or an unprofessional comedian.
But you're also female. And so the first wave was Michelle Accord, Jack Tweedy, Cal Wilson, and I've seen you described as kind of like the second wave of female comedians with Jan Marie.
Yeah, aw.
So you also placed that. Like, what was the differences coming through? First of all, I imagine you can't see a lot of female comedians other than those names I've noticed.
There weren't any. Like, when I got interviewed for something else, they went, well, so what was the question? It was like, how did you know there weren't many women? Well, because we could look around. That's why it took me years to become friends with Michelle Accord, because it was either me or her. I was never on a fucking lineup with her, Back then it was those girls were wonderful to me. They were so inclusive, and, we created our own little tours and we gigged together, and they were great to me. And, Cal wasn't especially. So devastating that she's not with us. So sometimes that's still a real shock to me. I remember doing a tour with her and Michelle and Cal and a few others, and we'd all got a bit scratchy with each other, to be fair. And I think our last gig was in Whangarei, and I went on stage and I was a bit fucked off and a bit tired. And I did this gig and went great. And Cal went off. She goes, "Oh, babes, I think your thing might be a bit fucked off and tired." She goes, "I've never seen you better." And I spoke about this at her memorial. I went, Yeah, so for better or worse, a bit fucked off and tired has become my thing, actually. But those women were very supportive of me. But yeah, it took a long time to build a relationship because Jan was different. Jan and I did stuff together, but I always looked at Michelle as like, wow, fancy Michelle, you know, she's been around for so long. And it was hard to get to know her because, you know, the industry almost kept us apart in a weird way. Mm. But she's one of my best mates now.
What was it, with the benefit of today's eyes, a really, really difficult environment?
Oh, absolutely. Really problematic, really difficult, really unsafe.
Yeah. How did you navigate that?
I was careful, and also I was ballsy, and I didn't take any shit, and I was careful about walking to the car park by myself.
Like, that's how bad?
Yeah. It was terrible.
I feel like we probably don't have an appreciation for how...
No, you don't. You couldn't.
For how challenging.
No, I don't think anyone does. And I really don't bang on about it, you know, but it was, you know, that's why there aren't heaps of me to interview. You know, there aren't a lot of women who've been around in comedy for a long time, and it's like, you know, I've got this weird, like, some of the girls go, oh, you're so iconic and that. It's like, I'm not. I just stayed. You know, I just stayed doing my job. I didn't fuck off anywhere, you know, but it was really, and I can think of women who were around for a while who were brilliant, who should still be here on TV on 7 Days, who just went, oh, this is shit. I'm not safe. You're a fucking wanker. Nah, it's too hard.
So the same sort of societal problems that you experience, but is it because you had that resilience, but also you loved stand-up so much that was kind of what you were going to stick through to no matter what?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I wasn't going to let those couple of guys, I wasn't going to let them win. You know, I feel bad because I wish that I'd realised sooner what was going on so I could have been a better, bigger sister. But I really didn't. I didn't understand why women didn't stay. Even though I saw it happen. I don't know. It's a really weird thing and something that in the recent years we've had a big clean-up in the industry and a big hooey and we've got codes of conduct now. But it's something I really struggled with, about feeling guilty about not protecting those girls, because the perpetrators that also hid that a lot from me by being mates with me and, you know, like, because I was older and not a sexual target for them, I was out of that loop. I didn't realise what those dudes were up to. And so I felt really bad because I know a lot of those younger women saw me being friends with all these guys because I didn't fucking know, you know. And so it's something I had to address really clearly with those girls is go, I'm sorry, I didn't know and I'll be better. And so now I've turned that into being someone that I really hope those girls can come to, and they do, if anything's going on, you know.
That sounds really like a really difficult self-reflection.
Yeah, it was.
To come to terms with,
yeah,
right?
I felt terrible about it. And then I've turned, difficult me, I turned that guilt into absolute fucking rage at those men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what were the steps to change things?
Well, they don't work anymore in our industry, basically. I have to be really careful here.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I'm not a fan of cancel culture, but sometimes it's necessary. And that's what we had to do because it's a very difficult environment where there's nothing, no police involvement and nothing, no charges. And so it's hard to navigate.
Yeah.
But it's all, unfortunately, it's so fucked. It has to be very underground the way we navigate it in a working group. And we've got an all-girls comedy group. And, you know, it's, I hope it's much better. At least there's eyes on it. And, you know, if I had complained about my treatment back then, I wouldn't be here. I would have been gone.
Which is fucking terrible.
Fucking terrible. It's the truth, though.
Yeah.
So I sucked it up.
And I can imagine, again, present day, looking back going, fuck that, why the fuck did I, you know what I mean?
Because, well, I don't feel bad about that because that was just pure self-preservation. That was just moving forward and not letting that shit come at me.
Do you think that's an entertainment space and time or comedy? Because
I think comedy is a bit more prone to it because our working places are bars and pubs and it's late at night and there's booze and drugs and it's predatory, you know. And if you're You know, if you're the only girl in that environment and you walk out the door alone to go to your car and someone sees you, you know, there's been things that have happened like that, you know. So we're careful now, you know.
And it's as well operating at a time which is pre-7 days.
Yeah.
You know, like
no, 7 days was probably going. But
okay.
They're probably just ignoring me back then like they did for a while.
Is it, with everything you've just said, is kind of like helping female comics that are coming through now a really important and rewarding part of what you do?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And that's why I like to kind of also be a bit of an example of like, you know, sometimes I go too far. Like I'm like, don't take any fucking shit. And what are these promoters doing for you? You know, like sometimes I go a bit too hard out because I'm so mum and bear about these girls now, you know, and I don't want them to. But they're kick-ass, you know, they're fucking cool, those young girls. They're strong, man. They're legends, you know. You've got your Hannah Cosgroves and your Mel Bracewells, and they are, I could name so many more, you know. Hayley to a certain part, although she's not quite as young as the others. But I feel like if I moved to Japan tomorrow and never had anything to do with the industry again, those women, that we're in safe hands with those wahine.
One of the things Dai sent through on sort of like talking points was some of the intros that you were.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure how you want to frame it. I'm not really even sure what it is. But is that part of this?
So I would get intros and outros, especially if I'd done well, especially if the male MC had thought that I'd done better than them. I've had outros like, and they'd be going, yay, Jazzy, yay, she was so great. And he'd come out and go, yo, Justine Smith, I fucked her. Yeah, what a piece of shit. You know, yeah, real smelly man. Like, horrific. I've never fucked that guy. I never would. You know, like, awful, demeaning shit. And this one guy used to intro me on, and he'd always do this. And he'd do this, he'd get a mouthful of water. And he'd go, oh, here's a woman in her 20s pissing. And he'd set out a little jet of water. And he'd like, here's a woman in her 30s pissing. And he'd set out more water. And then he'd go, and I was in my 40s at that time, and here's a woman in his 40s pissing, and he'd fill his mouth up and just go, bah! Please welcome to the stage, Justine Smith. You know, it's just shit like that, you know, just setting that tone, you know, and so you just had more to fight against, you know, I did. But then also, also the flip side of that is, in a glass half full way, is that 40 to 50 to 60% of the audience are women, you know, so when I go out as the fifth or sixth person on the lineup and they've seen only straight white fucking dudes, which it was like, everyone's happy to see me. Maybe that's just my little arrogance, but I was like, oh, they're going to be happy to see me because I'm a chick. You know, so I looked at it like that, like it was an advantage.
Across this period, like, were you getting better year on year, you know, gig after gig? Like, how dialed into you were into the art of actually, you know, improving at comedy?
Yeah, I was getting better and better and better and better. I just made sure I was. And, yeah, I just worked and worked and worked and got all that. Like, that's why I would come in from PR to get that 10 minutes of stage time, to work a gag, to work.
And because there were so few female comedians, did you feel an extra responsibility to be better?
Yep.
Because, you know, if you had a bad night, maybe it's like, then, we'll never get another woman.
Yeah, female comics suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. The amount of times it used to annoy me so much, two things, would be when we walked into a gig and we'd meet the promoter and be with maybe 4 or 5 other guys. And they go, oh, nice to meet you, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. Get to me, oh, nice to meet you. Like, don't fucking kiss me on the cheek. You know, and the other thing, what's my point two? I can't remember. Sorry, it's my menopause brain.
That's okay. Fuck, I just realised I do that.
Have you got menopause?
What, kiss on the cheek?
Yeah.
You know what? Culturally, it's a little bit different.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
It's when I'm talking about a crusty old fucking white guy. You know what I mean? Culturally, I think that's what you're talking about is completely different.
Okay. Phew.
Yeah, I really do.
Yeah. Because it can be, when we have a conversation like this and you reflect back on your own behaviours too, it can be quite confronting going, oh, fuck.
No.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's a vibe. Yeah.
What about hecklers? Did you get more heckles by being a female, and do you still?
I'll tell you a lovely heckle I had, right, when I was a young girl in my little Honda City, driving from Northcote back out to Piha, and I cried all the way home from Northcote to Piha because this guy, I was struggling because they were just, it was an RSA, horrendous, no woman, And I went out and I was doing my usual waitress gear, and this guy from the back yelled out, "Hey, darling, did you drive here tonight?" And I went, yes. He went, "Yeah, well, bend over and I'll drive you home." And the whole place erupted in laughter. And I just took my guitar and walked out, got into my little car and drove home just crying. It was awful.
How often did stuff like
It's
that?
not even.
All the time back then. All the time back then it was all shut your tits, fucking, you're fat, you know. It was awful. But then I think I kind of created this persona on stage, and not even on stage, really, just of like people haven't heckled me for a long time. People just don't. And my theory is I'm a little bit scary. And also it's always fucking men who want to yell at someone. You know, the guy who thinks he's funny at work. And my theory is men do not want to be put down by a woman in front of other people. And so a guy might sit there and go, "Oh, I'm going to heckle this bitch," and then he'll be going, "Yeah, I don't think I will." Yeah, so it's I think I'm a bit like that. I mean, if you want to heckle me, bring it the fuck on these days, eh? Like, I don't, but people don't really.
It's a crazy workplace, eh?
Yeah.
Everything you've spoken about, and your job is to go, like you say, with a microphone and make people laugh, and you've got all this shit in the background, and there's not many females, and you're the only few. Like,
The fuck am I doing?
Yeah,
What
did you
a
think
way.
about chucking it in?
No, you know why? Because the other side of this is after, you know, I mean, I've just talked about crying on the way home, but, you know, comedy has always given me so much joy. You know, I get more back than I give tenfold, you know, and it's it's connection for me, you know. I can't think of anything more rewarding. And the things that make it so hard is what makes it so rewarding. It's all you. You're the writer, the editor, the performer, the critic, you know, the director, the producer, you know, and so it's all you. And so when you go out there and you give this as one person and 600 people give it back to you, that's fucking glorious. It feels magic, you know. And, you know, I did a gig on, oh my God, I don't know when, Sunday night in Wellington, in Puniki at this, at the Opera House. It was a mix of Music Month and Comedy Month, and so I'm on stage with fucking Tammy Nelson fangirling my face off. And, you know, it's the Opera House. I finished my set. I've got a little band behind me playing me off, and I'm like, I mean, some people have to go to work in a factory. You know, it's like, I'm pretty lucky.
When did you make the decision to go all in and bin the hospo stuff off?
When I could afford it. Only when I could afford it. # got married to a man with a job. A little bit. I think I was still waitressing when I first met Dan. And then when we were married, I was still waitressing. And then because I got busy and so I couldn't, you know, and things started happening where I needed to be away or during the day and then 7 days remembered that I was alive. And now I'm on there, one of the most people, and I write for them the most, and I love it. And so things started happening. You know, I quit, actually. I had a tantrum and quit. And because I was starting to feel, I was waitressing, oh fucking hell, at Q when Q Theatre first opened, and I just started to feel resentful. And I went, oh no, I'm feeling resentful of my best friends, you know, because, you know, Hurley and Corby and Paul and Dai, you know, they're all buying houses, and I'm borrowing $20 a week off my mate for rent and still waitressing. And I went, and my thing was, I never felt for 1 minute that they were better than at comedy than me, and I still don't. But I thought comedy wasn't working for me. It wasn't that I had doubts of my own ability. I went, I need to do something else because I'm fucking sick of being broke. And so I did a quite dramatic quit. And then I realised after about 2 or 3 months that I wasn't good at anything else. So I kind of came back into it. And weirdly then everything just started falling into place. I got a really good agent. I'm with J&L now and have been since then. So I got on 7 days. I started getting corporates. I started getting tours. You know, basically Scott's so good to me that, you know, can't be at the classic whenever I want, but, you know, I can get gigs. And so it started working for me and I just settled right into it. I think you do need to be doing comedy full time to really sit right in it, even though that's hard financially. But you need to be writing. And, you know, when I write on the 7 days table, there's 2 teams of 3. And, you know, I'll go home and I'll go, and I'll write gear because my brain is kicked into that comedy side of it, you know. And also when I record 7 days live and I'm driving home down the Northwestern Motorway at 9 o'clock, I am filled with this fulfillment and this joy that I've made a great television show with my mates, and I feel really proud. And I just feel like Chris Parker said a really interesting thing about someone said to him, you know, what's next for you? And he goes, that's a hard question to answer. And I feel the same as Chris because neither of us are going to move overseas. Chris, because he's just not going to, me because I'm too old. But for us and for me, comedy is cyclic. You know, like it's not like I've got this goal that I want to shoot towards. For me, it's very cyclic. You know, like for a few years I was doing cruise ship comedy. I've stopped doing that now. And now I've got 7 days in corporates and whatever else may open up to me, you know, so...
Can we just do a little detour on cruise ship comedy?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's not as bad as it sounds.
Right.
Okay, so the shows themselves are in these beautiful theatres and they're great. They're just Australian bogans, right? I was on P&O. They're just bogans. They love you. You know, you go there and like, oh yeah, we shag sheep, shut up, you know. But I love the show. I didn't so much like the in-between. I didn't really enjoy the being alone, you know, being in my little cabin. And also... once you've been on, the whole ship fucking knows you. And so you get no peace. And I'm a bit weird like that. I'm a bit, I don't know, a bit like, I get a bit anxious being around a lot of people all the time. So I've hung up my cruise hat, but I did enjoy it for a while.
Is it like you do one set per night?
No, you do. So on the contracts I was on, you'd be on the ship for 5 nights and you'd do 2 shows.
Right.
So
that sounds okay.
Yeah, it's fine. So 2 1-hour shows, maybe a little Q&A or some little... panel discussion or some shit.
And that show would be the same? You'd do the same
They want
content?
you to do the same. You'd often do 2 shows in one night. Actually, that's what you do. Sorry, you do an early show, 7 o'clock, 9:30, 7 o'clock, 9:30. So 4 shows over 2 nights. And they want the show to be the same for some reason. So I was like, sweet ass.
Are you in the crew quarters or are you in a little...
You're in the crew quarters, but it's not, you have a porthole in your own little, you know, I mean, it's not, believe you me, it's not glamorous. But it's, you know, you have your own bathroom and, you know.
Yeah, that's such an interesting little...
Dude, it was crazy. And then you're in this area and it's all like industrial, clang, clang, clang. You know, there's people walking around with mops and shit, smoking. And then you open a door and it's like, nah, like this crystal chandelier and, you know, this shit. Yeah, it's wild.
And corporate gigs is another one which we, in our experience, stand-up comedians make amazing MCs.
Yeah.
Because you've got the skill set to be able to adjust and be flexible and hit timings. And
I mean...
you're funny.
And that's where the big bucks is, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
when did that enter your life?
a couple of years ago.
And while we're on the corporate and the cruise ship, have you managed to wangle a little trip away with your mate Ego?
My mate Paul Ego, I know. So we're about to do that conference again. We did a conference. Oh, God, so bad. Embarrassing.
No, take it.
We did a conference for the House of Travel and Paul and I together. And I adore Paul Ego. He's one of my good mates. He's the funniest person to sit next to at a party because his commentary on what's going on will be so fucking brutal and funny. And he's just got this kind of friendly little bit of doofus vibe, but he's brutal. Anyway, so we co-MC'd, which is a dream for us because, you know, you're quite often on your own at corporates. And it was a whole lot of different people in New Zealand, blah, blah, Viking cruises. And Paul was going, fuck, I'd love to go on a Viking cruise. I've never really thought about it. And so we were goofing off every time we went, and the list is in New Zealand, and I would be going, Viking cruises. And then they gave away some cruises, and I goofed off and got in the line. And they gave me out and got to the end of the line and went, and because I didn't have one for me, I was like, oh, it's fine. And then we carried on, and at the end of the conference, the head of Viking Cruises came backstage, and he goes, oh, I'd like to give you and Paul a free 7-night river cruise or ocean cruise. You can choose whatever you want. And at the time, I mean, periodically, I was quite broke. And so, Paul's, believe you me, not broke. But anyway, and so I just burst into tears. Oh, this is amazing. I can't believe it. And Paul's going, can you just fuck up? But yeah, so we decided, actually, because Paul and Janine and me and Dan, we're all such good mates that we're going to go together. So if we're flying over and we're going to Amsterdam to Basel on a cruise together for 7 nights.
How good.
So good.
Without having to do a set?
No.
Yeah.
Believe you me, we've both bought the drinks package.
I'll take us in a different direction now. We're sponsored by One New Zealand, and we always look for an example of deep connection in our episodes, which is a shared value of ours. And we thought the perfect place to dig into this was your relationship with Dai Henwood.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Who, it's a really cool thing. Like, I went to you for, background info on our ep with Dai, which we released about a month ago, and it's just
I started to watch it, then I went, I might just save that. It's quite a deep dive, eh? So.
It is. It's a deep dive. Yeah, it's so incredible. But can you tell us about your friendship, how you sort of first connected, and how you?
Gosh, Di and I went out for a ciggy behind the behind Circus Theatre when God, I can't even think how many years ago. 20 odd, and I honestly sounds so ridiculous, but I just remember looking at this hairy little nugget in the moonlight, and I was going, who the fuck is this, eh? And he was being so funny. And so I was like, so I started to be quite funny too. And we just had a bit of a funny off. And I honestly went, and he went back and I went, fuck, he's awesome, man. And then I can't really remember. He came up to live in Auckland and flattered with Jan. And we were just buddies. I just feel like we just slotted into this older sister, younger brother, naughty little kids. Like, we got up to nefarious shit together, but yeah, he's so solid and just this loving, just little, I don't know, he's just a special human. And I think that I just really gravitated towards him, and we made each other feel safe. I mean, I've been in, disabled loos with him, like, in my bra knickers getting changed. Well, he's getting to some fucking ridiculous leotard for some stupid fucking character he's doing. But, he was just, and he had that place at Piha, and I lived at Piha too. And, I ended up living opposite his place, and it was magic. We were always out there goofing off, and I would drive his wasted ass home after he'd been sitting at the bar at Verona, and he would talk my head off about girls, but it was great. But yeah, we're just really good friends, and especially with lately, the good thing about him is that he hasn't isolated himself. He's let us write in, and he's let us help, like. He was in hospital last weekend, and I went, do you want visitors? He went, no. And I went, what about if I just pop in, with a coffee and some sushi, and he let me, and I just popped in, and we ended up just having this huge gossip. And, so, I mean, he's just incredible, and, yeah, he's just a gift to us.
He asked me to ask you about how you got him a job interview at One Red Dog, which was a pizza restaurant on Ponsonby Road.
Yeah, well, I know what he's getting at here. So I did. I was was I bar manager or just a bartender anyway? And I got him an interview, and in the time that he was getting the job, I got fired. I've been fired a lot. I got fired, and so we never ended up working together. He ended up working there, and I'd have been fired for a couple of. Okay, I got fired for smoking weed.
Yeah. Hey.
But we'd always done it, and after we had pursued a little joint, sorry, in-laws, and yeah, they just decided to make a pariah out of me. So I was like, okay, see you later.
Did he have a phase of wearing only exclusively tracksuit pants?
Yeah, he did, and occasionally he would raw dog it. He would freeball it, right? And I was working at Ockham, which is now Josie Cafe and Grey Lane, and he came in, and I was like, okay, Di, I'm going to ask you to go home because I don't need to see that much detail of your penis in the middle of the day. And he went, what? And I went, yeah, I don't know if you're a half mongrel or what's going on, but you get the fuck out of here and go home and get changed. And he did. He did.
The other period he highlighted was Loose Tuesdays at the Classic.
Oh, my God, yeah, it was amazing. We did, yeah. We just wanted the stage time. I don't think we got paid. I think we got paid 2 star nuggets for a Loose Tuesday. It was this improv thing. And because I was the only girl, and it was Rhys Darby, Di, me, Rob Callahan, Mike Boone, Jan Marie. Oh, Jan was there actually. And it was just this, we just get so pissed and stoned and fuck around on stage. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't happen now.
Is that half the way of finding your way as a comedian, is experimentation?
I've never been an improv girl. In fact, I make fun of it. But that's only because I'm frightened of it. So I've done a few improv things I've been okay at, but I very much I'd like to know what's happening. Yeah. Don't fucking surprise me with anything, you know.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you're a nurse, and here's the scenario.
And scene. I just want to read, Dai sent some words through. I just want to read what he said about you. He said, the two words that come to mind with Jussie are loyalty and honesty. Jussie's a friend who is there through thick and thin. If you need her help, she'll be there without a question asked. She's been there for me in my best moments and my hardest. Jussie is also completely honest. She will call out actions and bad behaviour regardless of the situation. This is something I admire because I don't have that strength in some
he's
situations.
just much nicer than me. He's just sweeter than I am. Also, it comes from a real place of protection of him too, even before he was not well, because he's not the biggest dude in the world, right? And he was like quite a lot famous first before any of us were on TV much, with Roll the Die and all that shit. And people would come up, and because Roll the Die was quite a boozy, fucking, loose thing, and they would pick Dai up, and he hates it. And so I would get fighty. And so we would be in places like maybe Christchurch or Wellington, and Dai would go, hey, if anyone comes up to me, can you just chill out? Because I don't want to get into a fight. And I would go, sure.
That's a good Dai Henwood impression, by the way.
I'm quite small and scared. and so I go, yeah, obviously, I'm chill. And we walk along and someone come and go, hey! Don't fucking touch Dai. I still do it. At the moment too, he's like, because he's such a darling, when we're out, he gets a lot of people coming up to him wanting to share their cancer stories. And because he's so sweet that that's not a situation I'm going, hey! But I'm always like, I'm a bit like buzzing around the outside going, is it too much? Is it too much for Dai to take on? But he's got time for everybody. Whereas I would be going, I don't have time for this right now. But he's so giving. But now I've always been a bit protective. But now, God, can you imagine? I'm like,
watchdog.
yeah, I will kill you. Yeah.
It's difficult enough for general public who know and love Dai to understand his situation. And I don't mean to make this difficult for you as well.
You can make it difficult. It is fucking difficult.
And it is. And that's what I want to talk to is
terrific.
Supporting a friend who's going through this. Because there will be people out there listening that have got their own Dai Henwood in their own life and maybe are sitting in the position of a friend who don't know what to do or how to do it. So from your perspective...
My perspective is, like I said, I think that we've been really lucky with Daisy because we've got a little support WhatsApp group and Dai and I obviously speak a lot and he's let us in. He's let us help. He's let us drive him. He's let us cook for the family. He's very honest with us. It's really difficult. I feel like a lot of the time, my grief is quite close, and it's difficult because it's quite an ongoing grief, and I'm frightened. I feel quite frightened. And Dai said to me a while ago, he goes, I don't really remember what I thought about before I had cancer, and in a way, I don't really know what I thought about before Dai had cancer, It's hard because I've always been able to help him with stuff, and, I really, if I could take a little bit of that cancer and have it, I probably would do that. So he's so brave, but I do know that he does protect me from some things. But, he's given us so much that whatever happens, I feel like we'll always have him, he's changed me in so many ways. He's changed getting older for me. Dai's 10 years younger than me. And so, for me, I'll be 60 in 3 years and I'm like, well, what a fucking privilege. Who cares? Who cares about my face is falling off and I've got menopause belly and, things, sometimes I fart when I get up, but, I've got the privilege of, maybe being old. And so it's taught me a lot he's taught me more than anyone else that I could possibly think of, family, friends, or anyone. He's taught me what it is to be appreciative and loving and what's important, and it's been hard because my go-to emotion is to feel fucked off, but I think I've come through that because of how he is. He's so gentle, and I mean, it's documentary, fucking hell, you know. But he's taught me heaps, and I'm grateful. You know, I feel proud that he calls me his best friend. You know,
We had the most beautiful conversation with him, 2.5 hours, I think. And there's some comments on the YouTube, and it's like, you know, he's not a comedian, he's a philosopher.
yeah,
like
he actually always has been. He studied philosophy at university, which I always mock him. He did something ridiculous like philosophy and.
It was Eastern Asian philosophy.
And,
Crazy.
Yeah, really. But he's fucking smart and he's really zen. And thank God, because I think if he hadn't been like that, you know, if he hadn't had this beautiful, peaceful kind of, and, you know, he's an only child. So we kind of, not that I am, but I spend a lot of time on my own. And so, you know, he's very much his own person and he's very much someone who needs a lot of time and space and alone time and quiet, and I fucking relate to that as well. He's just, it seems insane. What's going to happen is going to happen. You know, it seems insane. But having said that, I remember when he told us, and it was lockdown Anzac Day, you know, and I remember going, fuck me, I don't want that to happen this year, you know, and it didn't, or the year after that, or wherever we are now, because, you know, fuck, he does it tough. I don't know anyone else who could have gone through the amount of chemo that has fucked him. You know, in his little body, you know, he lifted his shirt up to show me something. Looks like he's been attacked by a shark. You know, he's got this scar here and this scar here and this portal and these things. It's like, oh, God, I hate people touching me like that. You know, it's so invasive, you know. But,
and despite it all, the vibe is always like it's such positive energy with everything.
Yeah. Even at his lowest, when I saw him was one weekend and I picked him up, and it was the weekend that he felt so bad he actually thought he was going to die. And he was just quiet, you know, he was just very quiet in the car, and it was just fucking Christ. Yeah. But, yeah, fuck.
But then do you have your own support network with the friends that are in there
really
that
do.
are able to
I do. I
spread that load?
I feel really supported. Yeah, I do. I mean, we do take Dai's lead a lot in terms of he's upbeat, we're upbeat, you know, and we are, we do. We have a lovely support kanoa and wahine only kind of group of us. Sounds so sexist, but we're the ones who do the cooking, and we make sure that Joe, his wife, has got, you know, we put stuff in the freezer and that's very supportive for me because I guess in that group I'm kind of frontline, you know, and so, yeah, it's just been, the whole thing's been a fucking honour, you know, and will continue to be so, really.
Yeah, that's a really good way of looking at it. Moving to
the other man in your life.
Yeah, the other man of your life, Dan. So everyone we spoke to, glowing reviews.
Yeah.
Was it Kanoa or Hayley said like the
both of them would have.
Perfect. Yeah, just like the most incredible couple.
Yeah,
so tell us about Dan and what he's brought into your life.
Oh, fucking hell. God, he's amazing. You know, I had such a great granddad and such a great dad, you know, and so I was really, you know, I had boyfriends and that was like, oh, whatever, chump, you know, and so I was single for a long time in all of my 40s and some of my 30s, and I was okay with it. I was happy as Larry. And Dan was a friend of comedy. He was a good friend of Steve Wrigley's, and I'd met him, and Dan was in a hip hop band with dreads, and I thought he was great. I just thought he was a great guy, and we always got on really well. And I wasn't looking, and also he's 7 years younger than me, which is fine. But we were touring one day, me and Steve, and he'd brought Dan along for just to have someone there to do tech and drive and all that shit. And we're all mates. And we're sitting in a theatre and the boys are setting up, and Dan just came over to me and went, oh, hey, Juz, do you need anything? Do you want me to drive you back to the hotel, or are you happy sitting here, or do you want water? And I went, oh, I'm okay. And he walked off and I went, I went, oh, my God. Not only is he quite hot, he's so sweet. And then we kind of started dating. I was way more into it than he was. He hates it when I talk about this. But
it was your father-in-law said that you stalked him.
Oh, my fucking father. I forgot you spoke to him. I did. Okay, I'm going to say I did. Yeah. Because Dan's very much, he's very much hard and head, very even, very measured. And he was very worried because he was living in Wellington, I was living in Auckland, he was logistics, and I was like, nah. I had like gone, you are it, basically. I'd gone, I fell in love with them really quickly. And I knew he didn't reciprocate. And so he tried to break up with me like twice on the phone. He'd go, look, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. And I basically just kept showing up. I would show up and go, oh, hi, I've got nowhere to stay. And eventually we did long distance, and then we really, really fell for each other. And then it became untenable to be apart. And so I moved to Wellington, which I'm not a huge fan of. I moved to Wellington to be with him, and long story short, about 7 or 8 months later, he got a promotion back up to Auckland, so we ended up back here. But he's just the perfect man for me. Like, we just we fucking laugh all the time. I think because I waited and I didn't compromise, I saw a lot of girlfriends get married, have kids. It all went up, tits up, and I just didn't want to do that. And so I was ready for Dan when Dan came along. I wasn't looking, but I was ready. And so it's been easy. It's just been this wonderful, easy peasy. We never fight. The most we fight, I mean, I just can't really remember. We don't. We just are perfect.
And is it a mutual appreciation
It certainly is.
For Disney? Or is there one leading and one?
No, there's not.
Right.
So I'd been to Disneyland before, and so had Dan, but we went and we got engaged there. And so
Tell the engagement story.
Okay, so it was so cute. We went to this trip to the States, and we'd been going out for a while, living together. And I was kind of like a bit like, and so were my girlfriends. And I was like, just calm down. If I get back from the States and I'm not engaged, then you can give him shit. Okay, like, let's give us. I thought he was going to. I thought he might propose in New York, but that was at the end of the trip. But anyway, we went through LA to Anaheim. We went to Disneyland, and I didn't even notice he was acting weird. He was going, I'm acting so weird. She's going to know. But I'm at Disneyland, so I'm overstimulated enough. And he went, oh, fuck it, I'll just do it. And he had this beautiful ring that was his great-grandma's, and we sat on the teacups. And just before it started, he goes, oh, Juzzy, I've got my grandma's ring here, and I want to know if you want to get married. Will you marry me? And I was like, because it was such a shock. And then the teacup suddenly started. He goes, you need to answer because I need to put this away because this is going to start splitting. And so he kind of put it away. Went, yeah, yes. And then there's this really cute photo he took, and it's all blurry, and I'm smiling, and we had this wonderful engagement. And we went back to the hotel and rang and told everybody. And yeah, and so Disneyland's become our thing because of that. So
every Disneyland in the world?
Every Disneyland in the world.
Wow. How many are there?
There's Shanghai,
Good
Beijing,
question.
Tokyo.
Paris? Is Paris still there?
Paris, Anaheim, Florida.
Which one's the best?
Good question.
Thank you.
Very good question.
I think you can't really beat the OG in LA, but I'm going to go Tokyo Disneyland.
Been to Star Wars, the Star Wars
Of course I have,
place?
yes.
What's that like?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
To be fair, Dan's a bit more excited about the Star Wars side.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit like, oh, Winnie the Pooh, he's cute. He's like, Star Wars. But, sorry, he doesn't
Is that
talk
what
like
he
that.
sounds like?
Star Wars.
Is he Wookiee?
He is part Wookiee. Have you seen him?
Well, I had another question about what was his role in hip hop? Was he an MC or was
He still drops rhymes. He's really good.
Really?
He's just getting back into it. Yeah, he's really, really
That's so
good.
cool.
Yeah.
Grow the
Because
dreadlocks back?
the
hip hop
dreadlocks
hip hop to me is like burlesque and improv. If it's done really well, it's great. But if it's not done great, it is fucking shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
bad improv, bad burlesque, bad hip hop.
Yeah.
You know. So if it's great, it's good. So I guess stand ups like that too. But you know,
What was his group?
it's called G&D
Okay.
in Wellington. Yeah.
That's just buzzy.
Yeah, it was. I never saw them play, unfortunately. But I always thought it was real cool. He's cut the dreads off now, thank God.
I want to link us back to 7 Days.
Yes.
Because you made a comment before about they kind of like ignored you for a long time. Then you became head writer and you're sort of more
To be
prominent.
fair, when that head writer, quite a lot of people are head writer. Head writers occasionally I'd head write.
Okay.
Not really head writer.
Yeah.
So a lot of people use that. I've been head writer for 7 days. It's like, mate, it's a rotation. Okay, like cool out.
Yeah. But what is your, do you hold some resentment that you didn't get used more earlier?
I used to hold resentment. I've let that go. Resentment is a killer.
Is that a Dai Henwoodism?
No, I'm sure it is. I was resentful, but then when they started using me like everything, I'm a bit like, okay, cool, great. So I'm not resentful anymore. I'm lucky because now I'm one of the people who's on the panel the most, and I'm on the writing table a lot, and I fucking love it. Yeah.
What's that writing room really
it's
like?
great.
How much gets left in there that can't leave the door?
Heaps.
Yeah.
But, you know.
No, in terms of like the boundaries are pushed way too far.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, thank God no one's recording those writing rooms, am I right? Because you go, what about this gag? You go, we can never say that, you know, but that's how you get your juices, I hate people say that. That's how you get the wheels turning, you know. That's how you say some awful shit and then you bring it back into actual gags you can write, you know.
Is it competitive between writers
No.
Or do you collaborate?
You're in 2 teams of 3. And so you just have, you're writing gags with 2 other people. So it's fun. For Corbett mainly. So we write gags for Corbett. He goes through them, picks what he wants. He does write his own shit as well. And then the remainder of that goes into the pool of, you know, it's just a big pool of gags. But you do write most of your own shit.
That's got to be a fun work day to head
You
towards.
kidding?
I'm going to go hang out with other funny people and try and write the best
mate,
jokes.
and then in the 7 days of record, you go in at 3, you have a little meeting, you go and get your hair and makeup at 4, you have a rehearsal at 4:30, you have dinner at 5, the show's at 6, and you're just goofing off with all your best mates. It's so good.
Do you remember the first time when you went on? Because, was there nerves?
Yeah, there were nerves. Yeah, it was. I was so frightened and nervous, and it was back then. It was a bit like a beer pit too. You know, you were the only chick. Even though I knew those boys really well, it was like, oh, it was tough. You know, but you know, like everything else, it took some time, but I proved myself.
And then the tours, are they still going?
We're not doing a tour this year. A little, you know, we're unsure what's happening with Dai, and also it was, it's hard financially. It's so we decided to snooze it for a year and then see what happens next year. I thought we should still have done it. I think while the show's on, we should fucking milk the tour. But I'm not a huge voice in the tour, but it's okay to snooze it for a year. But it's amazing. It is the best fun. I mean, they're all my best mates, you know, and everyone is just, we're so excited to be there.
We've got, I call them bigger questions. We've got about 10 to finish with, and these could take us anywhere across the stuff that we've talked about. First one is best heckle. Is there a best heckle?
Is there such a thing as a good heckle?
So my best heckle is I used to do this gear where I describe myself as a house. I'm like 70s bungalow, good indoor outdoor flow, slightly overgrown garden, and this guy yelled out, renovator's dream, and the whole place laughed, and I went, mate, that,
Yeah, that's good.
and I went, I'm fucking using that, and he went, you can have it, and I went, and I've used it, renovator's dream, so good,
Yeah, it's
Amazing.
Good.
yeah,
It's good.
that's my best heckle.
What's a lie you tell yourself that you know is a lie, but you keep telling yourself anyway?
Men are awesome.
Good. Well played. Agile. It's agile.
I don't think I tell myself lies. I think I'm pretty brutally honest with myself.
Too brutally honest sometimes?
Yep, absolutely. Look at my nails.
Oh, right.
I tell myself that I'll stretch more.
I tell myself that I won't eat so many carbs. I tell myself that I won't drink during the week.
Okay.
Now we're talking. Yeah.
I see what you mean here. I tell myself that I won't toot the horn and tell someone to get fucked every time I'm on the motorway.
Yeah.
Keep going, Justin.
Yeah.
Let it all
I
out.
don't think I keep to.
Yeah.
Okay, I tell myself I won't order anything else while I'm pissed on Trade Me.
What do you order?
Sunglasses,
The
leggings.
ones that I like
Yeah.
those glasses you wore in today.
Leggings is a...
I don't
Didn't
want
you
to-
order yourself a pair of leggings when you were high
Yeah, I
once?
did. Yeah.
Yeah. Striping.
To me. Was it to me?
Me.
Me.
They're wrong.
Sorry,
Those
those
are
are
hot.
Sorry. Those are...
second-hand Karen Walkers.
Okay, fashion. You go.
Fashion, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, should we stick with fashion? Do you have a... I mean, we're dressed by Barkers now.
No shit.
Do you have a fashion tip or a grooming or some grooming advice?
Okay, so I have a fashion tip. What is it? It is fashion comes and goes, but style is forever. And I think because I used to do a real rockabilly look, right, with like, you know, tits up here, waist cinched, roll here, and now I can't be fucked. And so now I'm going for more just out of work art teacher. That's my vibe now with my kimonos and stuff. I think fashion is about... Style is about picking things in the fashion that suit you and rolling with that.
Like that.
And not listening to things that you shouldn't wear after you're 50.
Yeah.
Just
that's
on
good.
just on Barkers. Corbett's a Barkers man, isn't it?
Cool, through and through. I think he's got a Barker's tattoo. He would never get a tattoo. Ever.
Who's your favourite comedian?
Do I have to have one?
No.
Lucille Ball, Bette Midler, Eddie Murphy, even though it's problematic.
Nah, it still plays, I think.
Bill fucking Cosby. Oh my! Sorry, I said problematic, and then Bill Cosby came out. Billy Connolly, Bill Cosby.
Big Bill Cosby guy.
Bill Cosby. I mean, it's just misunderstood. What a piece of shit.
That
eh?
Cat Williams Theo Von.
Oh,
clip
yeah,
gets
yeah,
me
it's
every
so good, eh?
time. It's being a rapist,
I know.
problematic.
So gross. Eh? Have a little.
Oh,
Have a little.
fuck.
Want to have a little drink, there, little lady? Yes, Lucille Ball, Carol Burnett, Bette Midler for those real leading wahine. And it's not the Bette Midler of Wind Beneath My Wings. The Bette Midler I know and love is a filthy, filthy, gay-loving slapper, which I should write on my poster. Anyway, Eddie Murphy, Billy Connolly, Bill Bailey. Yeah.
Do you go to comedy shows as a fan?
No,
Do you attend? No.
I don't.
It's like us not listening to podcasts.
Yeah, I just don't.
Yeah.
I pick and choose. I know I should. I've been supporting a few mates in the festival. I don't watch a lot of comedy online either. I don't know why. It's not really for me. It's a lot of this, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Way too much.
What's the part of doing comedy for a living that nobody talks about, the bit that you only learn after a decade?
You're broke for ages. You're broke for ages, and you have to work hard and long. Glory isn't around the corner. It is fucking miles down the road. And people say to me, what do you need to be a comedian? And I think the first thing above being funny is tenacity. You have to be fucking tenacious because you're going to eat shit and you're going to get paid fuck all and you're going to feel like quitting every weekend and you're going to think that, oh shit, I should have gone to university. I should have listened to mum. I should have got a real job. This is hard. If you really want to do it, you have to stay. That's all. It's tenacity, being funny, and doing your own gear, and doing your time.
You always say gear.
Yeah,
and
it's caught
you do
me
your own
out a few
gear,
times.
and I'm-
Gear, material,
Yeah, that makes
not cocaine.
No.
Yeah. Just on gear. Is there some gear you love that has never worked on stage?
No. There's one bit in a story I still do when I talk about getting recognised in a Bed Bath & Beyond. And I think I'm getting recognised for being on TV, but actually they're recognising me for being a waitress. But when I say, and I'm looking through bath mats and they're going, oh my God, I think it's her. And I go, I'm looking through bath mats because I also need towels. And no one laughs at that. And I think I'm making myself look like such an arsehole by going, believe it or not, I need towels. I need to buy my, And no one ever laughed, but I still do it because I'm like, nope, didn't laugh again. But it's in a bit of a bit that really works. And so I just go, no, still not fucking laughing at that. But I still do it because it makes me laugh that they're not laughing.
Have you got material gear? Have you got gear that is like 31 years old that you still use now?
Yep. I will still, because I've got a bit grittier as I've got older. Sometimes if I do a corporate something, I have to go, oh, I'll just do that clean, not waitress gear, but maybe slightly after that, like you have to pick and choose. Yeah, I still do old gear. I'm pretty, I don't really care about that because I think lots of young comics make the mistake of going, they'll get a 10-minute spot and they'll try this, they'll get another 10-minute spot and they'll try something else. I'm like, no. Do that until you get 5 minutes of that being funny and then keep that. Don't just go, I've got to do something else. It takes work and listening and nuance and heckles and other comics and, Paul Ego's given me some fucking killer lines to add to a set because he's there listening. He goes, hey, what about this? And I'm going, oh my God, that's next level. Yeah. So, and we do it for each other. Go, hey, what about that? But if you said that or just added that, and they go, oh, fuck, that's brilliant. And we just give that to each other because it makes it better.
I saw an article in the Spin-Off about all the comedians listing their favourite bits, and I think Hayley Sproull's was your opening with the mic. Yeah, you sort of moved the microphones out. You probably couldn't see me behind
Sorry,
you.
I'll move that so you can see me. Yeah. Well, immediately that is a punch, not a punch down on me, but it's like, I'm not skinny, I'm not young, I know that. You know, it's fine. You know, everything's great. You know, it's like immediately I've punched a bit down on myself in a silly way. And so it sets a tone and gets a laugh in the first fucking 20 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, it's a cheap one.
These might be tricky to answer on the spot. Is there something that you used to believe with all your heart in your 20s that you now think is complete bullshit?
I think just in general, I had some expectations, you know, and my life is not... Look, I guess I thought I'd have kids. I guess that I thought I'd lead this kind of not quite as spectacular life as I do. I feel really lucky, and so I'm spinning a really good spin on that. Like I feel better now than I ever have. Like I feel lucky. I feel blessed. All that crappy shit. I do. I feel like things are. Apart from diving unwell, I think things are pretty great right now.
If you could do it all again, would you follow the same path? Like, would you go into comedy? I think so. I think I would probably be kinder to myself in the way that I, you know, those years where it was. I think I would just look after myself a little bit better. Yeah, I would. Fuck, that's hard to answer. Yeah. I think I would still do comedy. It's so. I can't imagine doing anything else. I cannot imagine my brain coping with having a normal job and having to be somewhere for the whole day till I'm going for my ADHD diagnosis next week. But I'm not very good at being in one place. I like having a job that's diverse. With that comes stress, you know, like... But like I've said, I've learned to trust the process now where at the beginning of the year, because, you know, January, February is quite tough for comics, where I don't go, fuck, I've got to get a job. What can I retrain as? I've just started to go, it will come. The jobs, the gigs, the money will come, and it does. So I've just learned to be a bit more zen about the ebb and flow and the cyclic nature of it. And I'm really lucky that Dan has a really good job and that, you know, we can afford our mortgage because of him. And, you know, we kind of treat it like that. Like we can afford the mortgage because of him and we can afford the fun travel and shit because of me. And so that's how we live. You know, we share everything, but that's kind of the vague way we do it. I think you mentioned at the top in that Judy Bailey chat that you had depression. Or did you touch on depression?
No, my mum had terrible depression.
Your mum had terrible depression. Have there been periods of adversity or like real struggle along the way other than the...
For me?
Yeah, for you.
I think lately, with everything going on, has been the most I have struggled with my MH. Growing up with a mum who was really depressed, very medically, chronically depressed, would spend days in bed, I have been really actively grateful for my own mental health because it's pretty robust, even though I've got a few things going on. I've had, you know, I do have anxiety. I've had 2 panic attacks in my life. My doctor, who I haven't even discussed it with, she's fucking cool. She went, I think we should have an ADHD chat next week, hey? And I'm like, yeah, we probably should, mate. Yeah, we probably should. Yeah, it'll be fair. You know, I think everyone's a bit like that. But, I don't know. What's the question?
No, I was just fishing around for mental health stuff.
Oh, yeah. So I think I've always kind of fought against that trope that all comedians are depressed clowns.
That's where I was going to go with.
I fucking hate that.
And I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, no, I really hate that because we're not, you know, and my mental health is actually really good. I don't have depression at all. I have a little bit of anxiety. I know what real depression looks like. So I think all of us have our struggles. Like we live in a tough environment right now, you know, everything is full on. And so I think it's normal, you know, but no, I don't think that all comics are. I mean, Dai's not depressed. You know, fuck knows why he's not. But you know, for before the illness, he's not depressed. Corbett's not depressed. Ego's not depressed. Hayley's not depressed.
Yeah,
I'm not depressed. You know, we all have our moments, but I think it's a dangerous hat to put on the whole thing of we're all fucking depressed because I don't like that word being thrown around lightly.
I actually had a note that you actually possess quite strong self-belief.
Yeah.
And that's probably been essential to your longevity in a very difficult industry.
Totally. I don't know where that fucking came from. It's ridiculous, isn't it? One of my mum used to tell the story of me, because she's very like proper, and she used to tell the story of there was a big department store. I would get bored quite easily, hashtag ADHD. And she lost me, and I was about 3, and she was panicking. She looked outside and she saw a whole group of people down the road, and she went down there, and I was in the window doing this little dance with people. I put material around myself, and she was like, oh my God. Yeah. So I've always been confident. I think genetically I'm confident.
What does it mean to be successful?
To be happy and fulfilled in your work and your home life. And I have both of that in fucking buckets. Yeah.
And what does the future look like?
Awesome. Future looks like more trips. Future looks like moving to the country. The future looks like goats. Future looks like chill. Future looks like can see water from house. Yeah, we live in West Auckland, and it's quite leafy and green. It's a lovely suburb, Ranui, believe it or not. And but I'm ready to leave Auckland. I've said I'd give myself, not being ageist, but I said I'd give myself till 60, which is 3 years, and then I'll have a good old look back and see, and maybe make some moves.
You don't do a lot of interview, like we said at the start. I'm incredibly grateful that you've come down and spent this time with us. But you probably also don't reflect on your life and career across 2 hours or whatever like this. It can be quite a sort of a therapeutic experience.
Lovely. It's really lovely because I just in general feel really grateful for where I am right now. Yeah, so it's enjoyable for me to look back, and even though I have really no family left to speak of, that time in Christchurch was magic. I was just this loved show-off of a kid. I was just adored by everybody. I just felt like I was the fucking centre of everyone's world. It was a good way to grow up, and even though my mum struggled and, we had a tough relationship sometimes, I never wavered in the fact that I was loved and adored and safe, until I lived in the same house until I was 16, so it was just a solid little background. I think that's what gave me, like Mum and Dad, I think, were such Christchurch people, they'd be surprised to hear it, but they gave me so much backbone and core and grounding and strength to set me off in this world on my own, and I just love them for it,
You're so loved. By the people we spoke to, but also like talking that we got Justine Smith coming on, and oh my God, she's hilarious. Shao came up to your show on the weekend and said it was just amazing.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's been awesome. We've loved sharing your journey with our listeners, and thank you so much for coming.
You guys, this has been just a delight. Thank you very much.
Loved it.
There are people you never want to forget. But people get old, memories fade. And then one day it's too late to ask the questions that matter most. That's why we created Reflections, to capture the magic before it slips away.
How did she like camping?
At Reflections, our award-winning interviewers sit down with your loved ones with time, care, and curiosity and capture their life story in their own words. The result is a beautifully crafted family documentary your loved ones will treasure for generations. One day, you'll want to hear that laugh again. We make sure you always can. Reflections, keeping family stories beautifully alive. Find us at reflections.life.